Well, we are watching Agenda 2030 play out in real time right in front of us. Total control of the human body, both internally and externally. On the outside, of course, total surveillance, mass surveillance, monitoring everything that we're doing, whether it's flock cameras, everything. 6G technology that's tracking us. But on the inside, after COVID shots, graphene oxide, and other toxic chemicals which are being used to manipulate all of us. So we'll get back to that part of the story in a second. But first, we had some bit of breaking news over the past few weeks, and the story is continuing here, which is the head of the CIA, James Woolsey, now dead. According to his family, dead because of Havana syndrome. And now we're learning that before his death, he had been traveling the world trying to find a way to stop it.
Guys, listen carefully to what this guy on Redacted says. But I'm going to jump in here real quick, and then we'll properly introduce this video here in a minute. But I got to jump in here while you're watching this, and I want to point out that the head of the CIA is part of this evil plot. And there's a reason for the season, and we're going to tell you what that is here in just a little bit. But for now, I just want you to watch what this guy is saying, but just keep in mind that whatever orchestrated theater they're playing for us today, even if it's on Redacted, or if it's Alex Jones or Tucker Carlson or whoever it is telling you any of this stuff, it's designed to deceive you. I'll tell you where the deception lies regarding the CIA guy and why they're telling us openly that the head of the CIA is afraid that he's going to die because the government's poisoning everybody. See, they want you to believe that. And they got to have somebody important that it's happening to. See, because they can't, it's not really happening. They can't just go out there in a suburb and start interviewing people and they're all just dying because the government poisoned them. No, they got to have some actor do it. And then you believe it. Now, some of you immediately can say, what, Dave? You don't believe the world's coming to an end and it's all poison and we're all dying? Yeah, I believe it. But I want you to understand that the intimidation and the panic that they're putting in you is going to make you look in the wrong direction. Now, just trust me, watch the rest of this and we'll give you some very important information in this video. I promise you that.
Really, the head of the CIA under some sort of control by, I don't know who, foreign entity, global elites, we don't know. But this was what his family said ended up killing him. And he had been on a mission to try to get this out of his body. The head of the CIA. And then, of course, we learned the revelations about the human body after the COVID shot, emitting Bluetooth signals and putting off MAC addresses. Yes, MAC addresses, which we've covered extensively here on the show. Remarkable. So the human body giving off these signals?
Jews don't run the world, Freemasons don't run the world. It's much darker than that. If you know their name, their organization, their family, they don't run the world. They're just puppets. The ones who actually run this world have been running it for thousands of years, and their bloodline didn't start human. The hate they made you feel, the sides they made you pick, the wars they started, the fear they fed you, none of it was real. All of it was staged.
Okay, what? This commercial pops up, so I kept it in there because it's like, what? The Jews don't run the world? Why are they trying to convince us of that? I'll tell you why. Watch the rest of the program. This commercial, this running night and day on my channel, I don't know if you've seen it, but they're going to tell you some alternative theory on who runs the world. And guess what? They don't have any responsibility. It ain't the Jews. It ain't the Illuminati. It's not anybody. It ain't Trump. It's not BlackRock. Guess who it is? Watch a little further and they'll tell you the whole scoop here. And now you'll see why they're giving you this propaganda in the middle of this other propaganda, this commercial. Both of these things are commercials. You see, Redacted, Alex Jones, all these guys are just commercials for their propaganda. Okay, stay tuned and they'll tell you what's really going on here in this commercial. Watch.
to keep you from ever looking up, because if you looked up, you'd start asking questions. And if you asked enough questions, you'd find the same answer that every ancient civilization found before you. Egypt found it, Sumeria found it, Greece found it, Babylon found it, and they all recorded the same thing. Beings that came down, took women, and created something that should never exist. Children that weren't fully human, children that grew into giants.
Oh, I can just hear a lot of you saying, "What are you talking about, Dave?" That is the Bible. That's what the Bible says. The giants, the Nephilim, that's the problem. Right? It ain't the government. It isn't the devil. It's some aliens from another planet, some giant beings that came here and took the daughters of men. Well, it's in the Bible, right? Guys, it's not what the Bible teaches, but I don't want to get into that here today. That's not what we're talking about today. But suffice it to say at this point that this teaching that's been going around for a long time, Jehovah's Witnesses teach it. I think most Christians teach this now, that there's these giants, and they came from the stars or aliens or something. You see, and they're the problem. It's not the government. It's not the devil. It's some alien life. I just saw a video yesterday about elongated skulls down in Peru. There's some of them they found in other places. They look like aliens with big eyes and big foreheads. Well, turns out these individuals were elongating their head on purpose. It was some ritual, cult, whatever. But I will do a video on that, actually, because that's something I want to share with you. But, and you probably heard they dug up giants, up in Oregon or something. You found them in a cave. They were 18 feet long. Well, the Bible says there were giants in the earth in those days, and I do believe that there were giants in the earth. But the giants are not from some aliens that came to the earth, from Inky and his ship, or, Enlil's ship or something. And they landed and they created us, not deity, right? Some aliens created us, and they're giants and Nephilims, and they're here on earth, and all of this is not what the Bible teaches. But I'm gonna have to. I wish I could go ahead and get into that here, because otherwise it's gonna leave you guys thinking, well, then what do you believe, Dave? Well, trust me, we'll do a video on that at another time. But just to point out that this is more propaganda, and if you believe this, then you're going to say, oh, well, these aliens are just these giants, and they're the reason for all the evil. It's not these people at BlackRock. It's not the Jews. It's not the Illuminati. It's just some alien, whatever. So it's just another ruse. Anyway, back to what we're saying here. I got another clip for you.
Russia has just been rocked by a massive onslaught from Ukraine. They have struck multiple targets, including their space center, an oil refinery, and multiple air bases, all more than 500 miles from the border of Ukraine and Russia. Many different sites, billowing smoke, up in flames, as Russia has called on emergency services to come in and try to fight these fires, but they're pretty widespread. Now, Russia's military trying to come out and say that they stopped most of the attack, that they repelled a massive attack, but at this point, the damage is widespread. It's all over the place. You got a key Russian rocket facility that was just taken out. Now, I want to remind you, we just had a massive mystery explosion at an ammunition plant in Italy, place that makes tons of ammunition for Ukraine on that side, was targeted and hit. I think it was a military hit in this battle back and forth. You can see other parts of the city here. Shows that the TSS-KB Progress Complex and Samara was ablaze with thick smoke, just getting pounded. The sprawling Progress plant has been hit as well, and that's the place that Russia uses as its workhorse for the Soyuz 2 rockets, and they develop Earth observation military spacecraft and other space weapons. So they've hit some key places here, hurting Moscow. I mean, Moscow is drugged straight into the war now. Big time. Hits all over the place. Everyday Russian people feeling the war just like Ukrainians. And I feel Russia's response is going to be big this time.
Hello, guys. David Vos here. What a beautiful day. I'm telling you, it's so beautiful. It's been a beautiful summer, but it has been a hot one. Very humid. But, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. You saw the clip there with the redacted. You know, I keep saying this, and a lot of you aren't able to see because you still favor the blinders. If you were to watch my videos every day, I know it sounds a little bit like what Jehovah's Witnesses used to tell us. Oh, you won't make it without us. You know, I think they told my mother that. My mother was like, you guys are doing something wrong and, you know, I'm not going to participate. And they're like, oh, well, if you leave, you'll never survive Armageddon. You cannot make it without us. Well, I'm not saying that you can't make it without watching my videos. Forgive me for saying it that way. What I am saying is that if you constantly watch the social media, I guarantee if you're not awake and don't really understand what's going on, you're going to get sucked in. And the lies will kill you. Now, I'm not saying that I know everything, but I am telling you that I am truly giving you some advice that will help you. It is the truth. I have verified it. The Lord is sharing this with me and has, I know, inspired me and given me this platform so that I can, at this time in history, tell you some things that are not being told to you anywhere else. Now, there could be somebody, but this is a very fine line that we're talking about, a razor's edge that if you're not aware of what's going on, it's going to be very difficult for you to survive. In fact, I think if you don't have some very basic understanding, you're not going to survive what's about to come down. Now, if you don't think I'm right, just because I said so, I don't blame you, and I'm glad that you're cautious. But listen to what I'm going to say, because I think if you will hear it, it will ring true. You know, when the bell sounds, you know what the sound means. You know, a trumpet to go to war, they all knew what that meant back in the day, and the trumpets blast, and you know it's time. Or when a siren goes in the city, and you know it's because there's a tornado coming, right? But, so, you can know. And I guarantee, and the Bible says, the Lord doesn't allow us to go through trials beyond what we can bear. And He always gives the way out. With any trial, He gives the way out. You must learn these principles. You must not be defeated. The government, the religions are all satanic, and they're all designed to teach you ideas that aren't quite true. Defeatism, a belief that, well, like Jehovah's Witnesses, and I keep using them as an example because, you know, I happen to be raised in that evil organization. But what they want you to do is trust them. They do not teach you to trust the Lord. They do not give you the wisdom to survive. Jehovah's Witnesses don't tell their people that they shouldn't take pharmaceutical drugs and go to the doctor every 5 seconds, and they don't teach them to get out of the cities, homestead, have a garden. None of this. They don't teach anybody the truth. They teach them to be dependent on somebody else. So we just watched the redacted. They said we get graphite nanotech or toxins in our bodies through our food, through our medications, through the, thingy. But here's what they never say. Never. On any of these, I don't care. You might like Redacted. You might think Glenn Beck's a wonderful man, but he never, ever teaches you to get out of the city. He never says get out of Babylon, stop participating in society. They think you should go down and vote again, right? They like Trump. They want to do all this stuff and have a war against Russia. They're not Christians. They're not on the right side of these things. They're being financed. And it's what we talked about the other day. It's poisoning the well. It's controlled opposition. You're not hearing the truth. You're being manipulated. You're being told that everything is going to kill you. And you just give up because, well, if everything is going to kill me, then why in the fiddly diddly am I trying to do anything? I might as well just sit here in my apartment with this bottle of whiskey. Hey, it ain't gonna hurt me if I'm going to die in a few years anyway. And, just go get some medications if I have some pains. If my liver's bothering me, I'll just go have it cut out. If my kidneys don't feel just right, I'll go down and have them cut out. Because, certainly ain't going to help me if I eat right. Why? The poison's in the water, it's in the air. There's no way out of it. But what they don't tell you is that we're in a classroom, there are angels and there are devils. This is not the devil's kingdom. The Lord rules the universe, the entire universe. The Old Testament says, where can I go from thy presence? If I ascend into heaven, you will be there. If I am down in the deepest depths of the sea, there shall your hand lead me. Thousands may fall at my left hand, and 10,000s at my right, but it shall not come nigh unto me. You've got to understand that if you don't agree to it, it has no power over you. You have the power over the scorpions and the serpents to trample them underneath your feet. Because we were given that authority. And the authority is truth. Because truth is the most powerful weapon. The sword of the word of deity. The truth. And if you don't know the truth, remember, Satan is come and his big weapon is deception. Satan cometh with great wrath, knowing he hath but a short time. What is he going to do? To deceive the entire inhabited world. So listen to me carefully. It's not as bad as what Redacted is telling you. It's worse. However, it's only worse for the fools. If you will become wise and follow the advice of the apostles and Jesus Christ, you will have no problem. No problem. Now, one hair of your head shall be harmed. I guarantee it. Because on account of the elect, the Lord is coming. So, the claims that the thingy, the food, the medications, and the water and the air all contain some hidden graphite, nanotechnology, or toxic material are completely false. And I'll tell you why. It is illegal. According to our law in this country, and I think most any country, it would be an illegal activity. Number 2, they don't run the world. The Lord runs the world. He will not allow it. The Lord will not allow the government to murder everyone. If it were legal or if it were possible for the government or Satan, if he runs this world, if he doesn't like us and he wants us all to die, and all he got to do is poison the air and the water, we'd all be dead now. We would not be hanging on little by little, clawing our way up out of the, bed every day, surviving if they wanted us dead. But the reason we are feeling bad and we're barely hanging on is because we didn't listen. To the extent that we don't eat the poisons, that we eat right, live right, breathe right, we're going to be healthy. I guarantee it. They cannot poison the air. It's illegal, and Jesus won't let them. In fact, the book of Revelation says that he's coming to destroy those who are ruining the earth. So yes, they're their society is ruining the world. But in the cities, in many places, even the waters are getting poisoned. But the Lord has provided, and he has told us to get out of Babylon. He's told us to get out of Sodom and Gomorrah. He's told us it will be like the days of Noah. And he said, get out and don't look back. So when you go into the mountains, the air is fairly pure and the water is pure, and there's nobody out there poisoning the air in the mountains, in the Rockies, or anywhere else in the world. It's illegal. What you're seeing and you're calling chemical trails are not chemtrails, they are trails. They're the exhaust from a jet engine. If they were putting out all of these chemicals in the air, we would all be dead by now. They don't have that authority. If that was true, then what do you believe in Jesus for? If Jesus can't help you, then what are you doing? If you think the only power in this universe is Satan, then you're completely taken over by him. It is a fact, you can look it up if you care to, that none of these things they're saying is true. The claims that are featured on these shows like Redacted, remember Redacted, I don't remember the guy's name. By the way, his wife used to be a Jehovah's Witness, is what I understand. I think I looked that up and it is true. I don't know. He seems like a wonderful man. But remember, all of these wonderful people are duped, just like evidently most of you. They believe all these ignorant claims. Oh, every day they got to make a new ticky-tacky telling you that, oh, there's no hope. The devil got control of all the world and there ain't no Jesus. And guys, the aliens have already taken over and your soul is just going to be a feast for these piranhas and you got no hope. That's all they will tell you. Well, some Christians will say, oh, no. We're all going to be raptured, right? We don't have to worry about it. Just stay in the cities. Don't worry. As soon as it gets real bad, Jesus will just take you out and bring you to heaven. Don't you worry. You got faith in Jesus. You'll be fine. Well, that's true. If you have faith in Jesus, you will be fine. The problem is if you had faith in Jesus, you'd do what he says. He says to get out. Don't believe them. They're false prophets. Don't listen to the world. Don't take their drugs. Live clean. Right? Don't be drunken. If you don't get drunk, you don't have to take the pills that they give you to take away the hangover. You understand what I'm saying? So, so this guy on Redacted used to work for Fox. He's been pretty big, you know, all these guys. Tucker Carlson was a big anchor at Fox. Megyn Kelly, Glenn Beck, all of them work for them. Glenn Beck's a Mormon. They got a secret handshake. They're telling secrets. They know what's going on. And they only know enough to become stupid because I don't think Glenn Beck or any of these guys actually know what's going on. They're just duped. They're in cults. I don't think Trump knows what's going on. I think the people who really know what's going on are probably also duped. It's a cult. And because nobody in the world understands that the world is collapsing because more and more criminals and mafias took over, and we chose the mafia. They offered you violent porn and wickedness and drunkenness and immorality and lies and wars and famines, and you said, yay, and you voted for it, right? Oh, we're not voting for a pastor, Dave. We're voting for a president, so we're going to vote for the child molester. He's a good guy in the sense that at least he won't take us to war, right? Huh? Okay. Well, so Redacted is part of them. Alex Jones, he's also saying a lot of the same stuff. But remember, he's already admitted his entire family was CIA. Tucker Carlson's dad, CIA, over propaganda. Man, We got to wake up, guys. So when the people try to prove their claims in their videos, they usually open their phone's Bluetooth settings because they're saying that everybody's got this nanotechnology in us. And how do they prove that? Oh, Alex Jones has got a little meter and they're going bzz, 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 and he's like, yep, I got all these codes just coming off of me. They're lying. Straight up lies. I'm pretty sure Alex Jones knows he's lying. I'm pretty sure that redacted guy probably got to know. Maybe you don't know. Maybe he's just going on what people say. But here's the truth. They turn their phone's Bluetooth settings on in a crowded area. They point out the alphanumeric codes that it throws, like 00.1A or 70DA7111 or whatever kind of codes are coming off of this thing, which appears on the screen. And then they claim that those codes are coming from nearby the thingy people, the people with the thingy. Well, the actual technical reality behind this phenomenon is nothing to do with you got nanotechnology in your body and it's throwing off codes. It's just a lie. The codes are MAC addresses, and every Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or smart device has a unique 12-character identifier called Media Access Control, MAC. Media Access Control. There are hidden devices everywhere, and when a phone scans for Bluetooth, it picks up everything within a 30-foot radius. It includes smartphones, people's pockets, their smartwatches, their wireless earbuds, car stereos, laptops, even nearby smart appliances. That's what you're picking up. It's not nanotechnology in your body. Why in the fiddly diddly would they put stuff in your body to slowly, eventually murder you? When if they wanted you dead, they could have done it a long time ago. And if they wanted to torture you, they could just kidnap you, take you to some far off place and torture and rape you all they want. And yeah, I know some of you say, oh, well, they do that too, Dave. They do, but only to people who agree to it. Because I guarantee if you're a Christian, not one hair of your head shall be harmed. That's why Masons make these pledges and oaths. That's why Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses and all of them, they make you join. You got to become a member. You got to sign something. You got to agree to something. If you don't agree to it, they can't do nothing. You know, we have wars and people die, right? Because, well, you agree. You join the war. You don't have to. Oh, well, they might put you in jail. I don't care. You don't join a war, especially the ones that you know aren't, right. What, are you going to kill all the people in Iran right now? What do you think, you're a patriot? You're going to kill all those babies in Gaza? You're a fool. And if you choose willingly to sign up for it, you're gonna die. I'm sorry. You see people at the gas station, somebody whoops in there and shoots them and drives off. Well, see, Dave, people just die, you ain't got no protection. Well, I guarantee that ain't never happened to me, and it ain't gonna happen to you if you don't agree to it. They are gang members. They got tattoos all over them. They made some very dangerous agreements. Maybe they're in Hollywood and they sign some contract that, they're going to be famous if they, make an oath. Some kind of, a lot of them join the Satanic Church to become movie stars or big rock and roll stars. Your body's the temple of the living deity, and you're going to mark it all up with satanic quotes and sixes and Baphomets and devil faces and weird symbols that you don't know nothing about, and you're going to claim that somehow when you chisel on the tombstone that you're not in a grave? Because if your body was a living temple of the living Holy Spirit, you wouldn't be defacing it. So, if a device has not been given a custom name like John's AirPod or whatever, then when a scanning phone displays the raw anonymous MAC address code, it's just going to look like codes. And you're going to say, oh, there you go. It's all lies. It's scams. In the viral videos that you see all over the place right now, they're all of them hosted or shown by these shows that you trust, all these wonderful smiling little actors. Oh, Tucker, what a good guy. Ho, 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 he's just a good guy like one of us. Joe Rogan, oh man, he can eat bugs and put his hand in a live snake pit, eat poison, walk on coals of fire, and sit there and commentate over a boxing match. He's just a guy like you and I, likes a little beer and a stogie. Come on, we can just believe him. First of all, he might be a good guy. Who knows? But good guys are stupid too. And the whole world right now is stupid. And you gotta wake up and realize that that what government is doing, they don't have the authority to murder you, but they're trying to get you to murder yourself. They're trying to get you to agree. Every time you go on the phone or download a new app or whatever, you got to agree. Everything. Why would they ask you to agree? Because they are based on contract law. They have no authority. Satan is the accuser. He goes on contract law. If you don't agree, he can't touch you. So, human biology cannot transmit radio waves. And now look, we don't know. I mean, who knows? I don't know. Do you know? Do you know every fact and thought that could be possibly known? No, I don't either. So why am I saying this so confidently? Because we are living in the Lord's kingdom. This is his universe. You are his temple. He dwells in you. No devil has any authority in you. If Christ be in you, then I pity those who live in the world, right? Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. I ain't got no trouble with them. They ain't going to touch me. They cannot. They have no authority. What are you saying there, Dave? Nothing bad's ever happened to you? Nobody's ever done you wrong? Or no, that's not what I'm saying. Yes, I am imperfect, and every time I do something wrong, if I drink too much, I get a headache. And if I go down there and join the Masonic cult and sign my name, they might kill me. They will eventually. You have to take responsibility. If you have faith in the Lord, nothing can happen to you. If you pray, if you believe in prayer, then what are you praying for if you don't believe in it? You see. So yeah, bad things can happen to Christians when they stop being a Christian and they don't listen to the Lord and they start listening to the devil. But you see, even then, the real bad things aren't going to happen to you because the Lord's going to bring you back. Little consequences are going to happen in your life, but you'll learn from those and you won't make these big ones, like signing over your life to the devil. So, these supposed, quote, studies, unquote, they're self-published, unverified, scam artists trying to get clicks on a TikTok. So, here's the point. Alex Jones, possibly the redacted guy and his wife, they all worked for Fox or other networks. They all went solo about the same time. Alex Jones admits his family was CIA. So, we think there's nothing we can do to protect ourselves. They want you to believe that. We think that it's just inevitable. We're going to die. It's in the air, Dave. You can't escape it up there in the Rockies, right? The air's going to kill you up there, Dave. Ha ha, you idiot. You're leaving the cities and you think you're going to get saved and you think you're just going to leave Babylon and everything's going to be wonderful. Yep, I think so. And I know so. And if you don't believe so, you're a fool. And you're going to die like all the other fools. And I'm telling you this straight up because you got to listen to me now because we ain't got that much time. We ain't got no time to play around. You either hear it, right, the bell or the sound of the trumpet, or the piano or the fiddle, whatever, you know what the sound is. If I'm playing good music and it sounds good to your ears, you'll listen. If you think it sounds like nonsense, well then, I don't know what you think that rock and roll sounds like, right? Come on, boom, bang, right? Throwing your guitar across the room and smashing it up against a wall with satanic stuff all over your body. Oh, that's just wonderful. That's not the devil sign, Dave. That's just the sign of peace. Huh? You're all fools. You see, I see the same tactics with claims about chemtrails. They're not chemtrails, they're comtrails. You think the Lord would literally allow the government to go in and just poison all the air everywhere in the world? You see, the reason they're plastering all over the television and they're letting it out and telling you about the flat earth and they're telling you about the chemtrails. They're telling you about the thingy. They're doing the Fauci all over the television. This time they're going to get him, Dave. Ho, they got him square to none. No. Fauci ain't going to jail. I guarantee it. You're a fool if you think so. It's just propaganda, theater. It's all orchestrated. They want you to be scared, very, very scared. They want you to be intimidated. That's why you go on to TikTok. I can't stand it. And I know people sit and watch it all over and over and over again. All these cops coming and arresting people and throwing them down and beating them up and throwing them in a car and taking them away, right, for nothing. Oh, that's not fair. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to sue them. Well, you can sue them all you want. They want you to believe that the cops are just going to come in and take you for no reason. So there's no point in believing in the Lord, right? You're all going to die. Guys, there is some truth to it. When a society gets to a place where they agree to all this kind of stuff and they don't resist anymore, then you've already voted for it, and I guess you're going to receive the consequences. However, if you're somebody who has gotten out of Babylon, you're complaining about tickets on the highway. Oh, they can't check my driver's license and insurance, and that's just illegal. I've got the free commerce clause in the Constitution, Dave. Well, I'm sorry. They can do whatever they want. That's their road. They built it. Oh, well, my taxpayer money. Yeah, but you agreed to let them do whatever they want with your tax money, and you agreed to work for them and take out the money from your taxes or from your paycheck, and you work for the government or you work for some guy and they're taking out all this money, and you're driving on their roads, and you're signing the contract to buy that car, you sign the contract to get the insurance. When you sign the insurance papers, you're agreeing to it. When you sign the driver's license, you're agreeing to abide by all the laws of the highway. If you want to get out of Babylon, you gotta get out of Babylon. Well, I don't want to do that, Dave. I want to be able to live. Well, I can't live without a little porn and a little violence and a little bit of the city life. I'm not dead yet. I gotta go dancing once in a while, Dave. Well, all right, you make your choices, you get what you get, you do what you do, but you know better. If you're over 30 and you haven't gotten to a place where you are strong enough yet to fast a little bit and be mature and honest and loving and seek out a mate and be faithful and love your children and be sober and do all the things that good, normal people do. I mean, everything well, I only drank one little vial of poison, Dave. That's not too much. Why am I dying? That's not fair. Well, because you know that one vial of poison is all it takes. You shouldn't take that vial of poison. Even if you think it's only a little bit of poison, don't do it. The consequences are going to be there. Now, if you didn't mean to, and the government, snuck one in on you or something like that, and you're a Christian and you believe in the Lord, you pray and you say, Lord, thank you for this food. Please protect me from the poisons that might be in the air or the environment. And the Lord will keep you safe. Whatever you believe, ask and you shall receive. So, all this conspiracy of Mandela effects. Oh, well, they're changing our memories, right? They've got control of our brains, and now we can't, even remember what's true, right? I'm sure he said, Luke, I am your father. No. I'm sure he said, oh, the lion will lie down with the lamb. No, he didn't. I remember. I grew up reading that Bible. I can specifically remember the passage. I had it memorized from the time I was 6 years old. It says, the wolf shall lie down with a lamb. You're being manipulated. So, they're mixing crazy, ridiculous lies with the truth. Why? To discredit the real things. For instance, starting today, I just saw an advertisement that said, get out of America right now. People are going to be killing each other. You've got to get out of America. What? I have never seen a commercial like that in my life. And they're allowing it. They're pushing this commercial all over the place. Well, how ridiculous. First of all, everything we just said, ditto, right? But let me go further. If you were to leave America and go to any other country, do you think you're going to have a better shot at surviving this in the cartel-run Mexico? Really? Or you think you're going to go to socialist Canada where they're just taking people off the street? And, and see, now there's another one. They put that all over social media with this guy up there in Canada. They just took him away, right? Took him to a mental institute. And it was all over the media. And you're like, what's that Canada doing? It's crazy. Remember when COVID was going on and they had nonstop cops taking people in Australia and Canada and taking them to jail because they wouldn't wear a mask or some stupid thing? It's all propaganda. They want you to believe you got no hope, that you can't just get out of society, that you can't get out of Babylon, that the government's evil and that everybody's going to kill you. And there's no hope. That's why the people on TikTok are showing you all these cop abuse TikToks. Because they want you to believe that it's just evil. Satan is running the police, the government, everything. And you see, Satan is running the police and the government. However, Satan doesn't have more authority than you or Jesus Christ in you. And they cannot do evil things, which is why they're trying to intimidate you and make you believe they can, but they can't. They cannot do that. Yes, a cop can make a mistake. Yes, somebody could shoot somebody out there in the world, but average people don't just go around shooting people. If you see people getting shot somewhere, it's all staged. And maybe a lot of people that died that day were actors. I mean, it's all these red false flags that were going around for years were staged to, desensitize you, to make you believe that there's no hope. All of this is what they're doing, and you've got to wake up to it. So, if we go to the media, we're made to believe that it's just futile and you cannot resist. If we go on social media, even though we know it's monitored, but we go on there and agree, right? If we don't leave the cities, even though it's polluted, we stay in the cities, right? We just agree to everything, then we haven't got the right to be prosperous and happy because we're choosing to be unhappy. This world, our current society, goes by contract law. Everything they do is by a signature. If it weren't so, you wouldn't have to agree before you downloaded an app. You wouldn't have to agree and sign the bottom line when you bought a house or got your insurance or anything or got your driver's license. You agreed to be arrested on the highway when you got your driver's license. And if you didn't get a driver's license and you're on the highway, well, the other people that are on the highway all agreed that that's their highway, and they agree to the licenses and all the insurance, and so they're all agreeing to it. That's their road. That's society. That's like an HOA. You join, you got to pay the fees. You see, if you don't want to pay, you don't drive on their road. It's a choice. If it weren't a choice, we all would be dead already. If people think it does no good to try to live right, they won't. So the redacted guy may be participating. He may be doing it without knowing, but he's pushing false ideas. And none of these people on these programs like Glenn Beck or any of the rest are telling people how to live right or get out of the cities. Glenn Beck's not telling you to get out of the city. Oh, yeah, he did say you should have, stock up your pantry, right? What? They usually say, a year, a few months worth or whatever. Really? All that's going to be stolen within minutes. You'll be raped and they're going to just take everything you got and maybe they will murder you. Right? Because it's not the government. It'll be the zombies that you lived in the city. You agreed to, all the homeless and let's have welfare programs and let's have social services and all these other. You all agreed to all this. So there you go. That's the insanity you're living in. You're going to reap the consequences. We don't drive on the road. We don't get a ticket. We don't drink their old terrible poison water. We're not going to die. Go out to the country, hand dig your well, catch the rainwater, right? Oh, the rainwater's all poisoned, Dave. Well, it's just like a running stream. The government can't do anything about the purity of the rivers. If you live on a river where down the road just a few feet, there's a big factory dumping chemicals into it, well, yeah. See, you got to get out of the cities and the areas like that. You go into the Rocky Mountains, we ain't got no chemical plants dumping crap in the rivers. And there's very few planes going over top of my head. A few, but nothing like what you guys are experiencing. We don't got cars running up and down and pollution and all this stuff. And not only that, I've got the seal of the living deity in my forehead. You understand? So they cannot just murder us. That's why we have war, so they can legally murder you. You have to agree to it. You have to join, guys. What we're describing is the concept. It's often referred to as controlled opposition, as we've said, or poisoning the well. It's the idea that certain public figures are allowed or even encouraged to mix genuine truths with absurdity. Guys, we got enough problems just realizing the world's going to World War III and all those poor people in Ukraine and Iran, they're all going to die. Well, Dave, I thought you said if they got out of Babylon, they wouldn't have to die. Well, anybody in Iran or Ukraine that's truly a Christian and gets out of the cities and leaves and doesn't demand, right? Oh, I'm going to stay right here in the city. I don't care if you bomb me, Russia. What? It's a war zone. Get out. You fools. My goodness. The average person dismisses the entire thing. And then they dismiss all the valid concerns. Oh, well, there's nothing we can do, Dave, so I'm just going to drink this poisoned water and stay here in the city. What we're observing is real. It's a psychological dynamic. It's sensationalism which breeds paralysis. That's what they're doing. The alternative media channels bombard the viewers with catastrophic, inevitable doom or lies, hidden nanotech in the water, or some kind of defeatism somewhere. A threat. It's an invisible threat. It's inescapable. It's all powerful. Well, then you're going to stop trying to improve your life because it's just futile. The system relies on participation. Governments, corporations, digital platforms, they don't need to force compliance through some comic book style secret plot. They achieve it openly through convenience and legal agreements. People willingly hand over their data, their privacy, and give their attention to the tech companies every day by clicking, I agree, on their terms of service. They eat their processed foods, their sugary drinks, their chemical heavy household products are all sold completely in the open, and the ingredients are there printed right on the label. Why are you buying the chemicals? Why are you soaking in petroleum detergent? Why are you rubbing that petroleum in your face and on your hands, you girls? Society doesn't have to force people to buy these products. People choose them for their convenience, for their cost, or for their taste. They don't offer any practical solutions. Redacted don't offer any real practical solutions. Oh yeah, they say, stock up on food. That's not good enough. You got to get out of Babylon. You got to have a garden. They say, oh, we'll have a garden in your city, right out in your front yard or in your sunroom, right? Grow a plant. That ain't going to do it. And then when the media focuses purely on fear and it keeps the viewer glued to their screens, it just generates revenue for them and high engagement. But true autonomy and true protection from all of these negative things and bad things in society all come from taking personal responsibility. Your diet and your health is your choice. You've got to choose whole foods. You've got to cook them from scratch. Avoid processed items and your exposure to chemicals. You don't have to buy them. You don't have to live in the city. You need to grow a garden. Support the local farmers. Go find some clean water to drink. You can do it. Get your water out of a stream. I'm getting my water out of a river in the middle of nowhere out here in the woods now. It's free. I just ordered a pump off of Amazon. It was $69 for this pump. And I had to order a really nice little hose and a jumper cable thingy that would reach all the way to my battery. And then I just go there, open the hood, hook it up, the pump to the battery, and just suck the water right out of the river into my tank. And I bring it home for drinking water. And I'm catching water, and I've got storage, and I've got all this water system here. I'm going to be fine. Why? Because I'm preparing. Are you? If you're not, you say, well, I got a couple of year date. Maybe it won't happen for a few more months. You see, it's going to take you months to prepare when you get to your land. You got to make a garden. You got to get out here yesterday, but you're not. You're twiddly diddly. You're twiddling your thumbs, right? Guys, I'm not trying to be insensitive. Forgive me, I'm not. I understand the situation some of you are in. You have family in the cities, you got a home, you can't just leave and all of this. But if you knew what I knew, you'd leave. I know that this world we're living in's going down in a matter of months. So I sympathize with the hesitation, but you better hurry. I just don't think you got much time left. If the Lord doesn't impress you and put it on your heart, then you're going to have to do what you feel is right. But I'm telling you, this is the right move, I believe, is to get out and get you some land. You might have a month or two to do it. I don't know, because I think maybe by fall or next spring, it's over. It's going to be a great tribulation. Everything is going to collapse. Everything you've ever seen or known, it's going to be the biggest event in the history of the world since Noah and the ark. But if you're not feeling it, you got to go by what you feel. That's my testimony I'm giving you today. But possibly, maybe you've got enough time if you get in the car soon. Like, pack up your bags and go. Get out of the cities. I guarantee you, I'm giving you a warning straight from the Lord because it didn't come from me. It came from the scriptures. It came from the Lord. Get out of Babylon now. Ultimately, the perspective that I'm giving you is an old philosophical truth, and you cannot always control the massive chaotic systems of the world. So you've got to control your own world, your own environment. You got to have faith in the Lord for your life. You can't have faith and make certain that all the other people in the world, choose the right course. You give a good example for your children and your friends and family. That's your duty. The chaotic systems of the world have no authority upon us if we don't choose them. They do have immense power over the environment in the cities where they're doing it, where they're telling people to come on down, right? Come on to the city, get a good job, buy a house, get a loan, reverse mortgage. Oh, what? Oh, yeah, we'll own your house, but you don't, just give it to us. You don't need to give it to your children. See, what I believe is that we are in a classroom. And I know that this is not just my belief, but this is what the Bible teaches. See, this world that's under this law, it's a schoolroom that leads to Christ. Society has a lot of evils, most of which people want and agree to. The violent porn on TV, the drugs, the pharma meds, the white poisoned bread, the fast foods, unhealthy pills that remove the effects of drunkenness or rather than being sober, we just take a pill, right? Or how about the morning after pill instead of abstinence or being with your soulmate? Fast foods rather than gardening or homesteading. When the government hypes up war and people join willingly, they will die. You agreed to it. If they get sick from diseases, they chose their lifestyle. When they live purposefully by an oceanfront landslide, then when a storm comes, they lose their homes. So I believe the coming collapse will wipe out billions. Yet, I believe that anyone who chooses to not participate in this orgy of idiocy, anybody who will leave the inner cities and learn to live in the natural settings will not perish in the coming tribulation. They cannot murder anyone they want. That's why they get us to participate and believe their nonsense. I think it's a universal law of deity. Government is bound by their laws. And if the majority of a nation wants to murder themselves, then that nation will collapse. And your karma, or what you choose, will come back on you. And I believe that with everything I am. There is nothing that they have. Satan has no authority over my life because I choose Christ. But anyway, we're way over an hour. Going to leave it there and get this uploaded. Got to walk up the hill, up on the cliff behind the house, and all my cats will follow me and the dogs, and we'll sit there and watch the sunset. Anyway, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Lord loves you all. His grace and His peace will always be with you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.